What's up, guys? I'm Taser so far once again. Here's our video. We're looking at 5 Schmidt episode 21.5, the Phaeron. I think I might have said that right. I don't know, but it's probably some messed up dude. Probably blow up some stuff, destroy some civilizations. You know, slaughter a bunch of people. Who knows? But I'm definitely excited for it. Old Man Reacts has a lot of personality to his videos. It takes a lot of time to make them, so I'm definitely excited for it, like always. You guys can check out the original video in the description. You get your content, you get your reactions. Please like, subscribe. Let's get to it.
Galaxy would be filled with nothing but cracked planets.
Okay.
Rolling credits, and we're off.
Good. Reset the Voxcaster for transmission, but leave it offline for now.
Very well, Commissar.
I'm so glad you got that little issue fixed with your vocalizer. You have no idea how uncomfortable that was getting.
Yes, I am glad as well. I added a new program to block the intrusions.
A new program? Where'd you get it from?
From notascam.com. It helps me to...
Phasian?
Scam.com.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Of course
You
he
have
would go
reached
off
a
and
number
do
that has been
shit like
disconnected
this.
or is
Of
no longer in
course he would do
service.
something like
If you
this.
feel you
Of
have reached this
course. Why
recording
wouldn't
error,
he do
please check
something
the
like
number
that?
and try your call again.
Armin, what is it? I literally have no time for any bullshit today. I'll have to get the tech priest down to the workshop and see if a factory reset will work.
I wanted to talk to you about something interesting I found out.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I've been wondering quite a bit how you're able to get away with talking about certain
What's going on, bro?
time officials and even the Emperor himself.
Uh-huh.
Yes, all very interesting. I thought that, considering your corpse Emperor's Inquisition means to put a bolt around anyone with original thought, you would be dead by now.
Uh-huh.
But then, I just happened upon something curious. Have you ever heard of a specific branch of the Inquisition called the Ordo
Initiate Perturabo Protocol.
Okay.
Say another syllable. Say another syllable, I fucking dare you.
Bro, what is going on, bro?
Sure, isn't it? You'll remember.
Make my day, Ormond. Say I'm anything other than a commissar and you won't believe what's happening. Even while it's happening.
Oh, you were friendly.
I'm your friendly neighborhood what, Araman? Exactly. Stand down, Perturabo Protocol. So, Araman, my old tit, why did you come to see me today?
If I battle this 40 million,
Sounds great. Let me drop off the tech priest and we'll get right
This takes so long.
now. If anyone wants to transmit, just hit this switch. This one right here. Just come on over and hit this switch.
who are you talking to?
Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Are we gonna start now?
Hello. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
That's a long intro. I don't even know what to even talk about that, bro.
Commissar. An unexpected calling to have, but an agreeable one, largely. Hello there. I am the Phaeron of the Vormekta dynasty, Zavorhen Yaksha.
Looks dope.
I imagine that at least a third of you are already having a conniption at those words, and I imagine the rest of you have no clue what they mean. For reasons that shall become evident, I'm here to tell the story of my people and our purpose. High time, really, considering my role in the Commissar's Voxcasts, as well as the fact that I am the reason the Commissar does his job as well as he does.
Dude, they're so cool looking, bro.
Disparage a fellow historian's knowledge,
Sheesh.
but it is from my libraries, and it draws most of his sources. The story of my people's origin shall be abridged, as it is far too lengthy and convoluted for most to comprehend. We were an average Necrontyr dynasty, situated roughly 500,000 light-years northeast of the galactic core. We, along with all our kind, became embroiled in the Secession Wars. We fought independently for the Silent King and in the interest of unification. We had always favored diplomacy over other methods of seizing power, and the Necrontyr remaining united would have served our interests far better than rampant balkanization, as you Imperials might put it. We suffered our fair share of victories and defeats, gains and setbacks. But looking back, they seem to lack very much significance in the grand scheme of things. As the Silent King drove us all to war against the Old Ones, the Vormekta were among the few that opposed the decision. We wished for immortality as fervently as any.
So just so I'm not lost here, this is Necrons versus Necrons? Or am I just completely missing what's going on right now? I think I'm off base a little bit here. I don't know.
Necrontyr, but declaring war against those who could in the future grant it to us seemed a counterintuitive decision. Nevertheless, we marched at the King's behest when we were called, doing what we could to lessen the burden of war on our own dynasty. When the tides and tapestry of history swept us up and along toward the rise of the Catan and the war in heaven, our dynasty marched onward with little fanfare or trouble to speak of. I myself had only been born partway through the war against the Old Ones, and I had only ascended to the throne of Vormekta 3 years before the fires of biotransference came to us. However, as the biotransference stripped us of our flesh, we as a dynasty found ourselves lucid and conscious. Where most others had their memories and wills stolen entirely, the Vormekta retained our identities throughout our ranks for reasons we could not and do not understand.
Like immortal.
We were still enslaved, the command protocols of the Catan overriding our will in intermittent intervals. But all of us, from myself to the lowest of peasants, remembered who we were and what had happened to us. And so for the entirety of the war in heaven, we were driven to war under the Nightbringer against all of our wills. The only explanation as to why we retained our identities.
That's kind of sad though, bro.
To,
it's kind of sad because, like, you know what you're, like, who you were. You also have no self-control either. That's kind of sad, bro.
Boils down to the Catan playing a cruel joke on us, experimenting and seeing how unwilling conscious slaves suited them compared to insensate unconscious ones. Either way, when the Silent King finally launched his trap and freed us from the Nightbringer's control, we rose up with a vengeance and took our pound of flesh, so to speak. It was with a resigned acceptance that I ordered my people to sequester themselves to hibernation for the next 60 million years. There was little else to do, after all. Our capital tomb world of Nectar reawakened in what you might refer to as the 32nd millennium. And when we awoke, we found the surface of our world completely covered in the decrepit ruins of a long-dead civilization. Cities with mountain-sized complexes, highways and infrastructure that spanned across the breadth of our world like the veins in plants' leaves. There was hardly any portion of our planet that didn't at least have some littered evidence of this civilization, but there was no sign whatsoever of what people may have called these structures their home. The story of an entire species, the beginning, the rises and falls, and the eventual end of an entire race of people, had come and gone while we had been asleep.
No.
So it's kind of creepy because if those people would have like woken up the Necrons, they would have gone extinct way earlier. They would not be having a good time, bro.
No, 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 no.
The fuck?
Get back here, you clanking collection of collisionous chumps!
All rather amusing.
Alright, to hell with it! System shutdown code word, Zanzibar!
I take it the factory reset didn't go over well.
Apparently, the tech priest has saved at least 14 different editions of Lusty Armageddon Toaster he doesn't want to let go of.
The fuck is a...
Do you really want to know?
No. I think I'll pass.
And what exactly the fuck are you laughing at, Owen?
Dude, I love his videos, man. He puts so much personality in these videos, bro.
Right
It's
then.
so good.
Before the fires of biotransference, I'd been tasked by my father, the former Phaeron, with researching and understanding the cultures and languages of the old ones. This was so because I'd always been a swift learner and had a curious spirit. This same proclivity of mine was used by the Nightbringer against the Crocs and the Eldar.
Dude, he's huge, bro.
And so I awoke from my
Damn.
stasis tomb, and I traversed the desiccated husk of a long-dead people's greatest achievements and shames. And I was captivated. I had to know who these people were, and where they had gone. And before me lay untouched evidence of their passage. As the centuries of my tomb world slowly awakening crawled onward,
Dude, what
I
the
spent the
fuck?
time examining every errant relic and artifact and ruin on the surface of Mekta. I learned much, but ultimately precious little by the time my people fully awoke. To my surprise, my people's memories and identity had long endured the millions of years of sleep, and as they began to wake, I saw fit to bring them news of the civilization that had been birthed and apparently perished upon our own soil. It wasn't long before all citizens of Mekta began playing the role of archaeologist. What else was there to do? The metallic prisons of our immortal shells left us with little option other than either going back to sleep or finding a way to occupy ourselves. And we'd been given one devil of a puzzle to solve right on our doorstep. Over the course of about 900 years, we
Damn.
dissected and archived all of our findings on this dead civilization that had made our world its birthplace and grave. We learned much, but not nearly enough. This had become the only thing that my people had any investment in. We had to know everything.
It's like obsession.
I happened upon the idea of using the combined efforts of dozens of chronomancers to directly peer into the past, rather than simply sifting through the detritus. And through this, we learned everything we wished to know. The long-dead people who had lived on our world are a topic I shall leave unexplored for now. What is important is that by learning all we could of this dead people, I and the citizens of Mekta had gained a love of history and archaeology. And so, as the topic of mobilizing our people to action and reawakening the other tomb worlds and overlords of Vormekta became broached, it wouldn't be long before our newfound curiosity would be unleashed upon the stars. Coincidentally, on another planet in our own home star system, there was another alien civilization that had sprouted during the time that we had been asleep. Only this one was still alive.
Oh.
This civilization, as you humans would refer to them, is comprised entirely
It's a beautiful
of beastmen,
shot.
more specifically, Minotaur beastmen, although they refer to themselves as the Auroch. At the time that we awoke, the Auroch were roughly halfway through what one might call a medieval period in their development, and were just then going to have a grasp of chemical and explosive weapons. This development, to me
No match for
and
the
to my
Necrons.
people, came as something of a dream come true. Where before we'd only been able to sift through the remains of a dead people and take brief glimpses into their lives, we now had a living people to study and catalogue. And so we did. We committed at first to conducting a prolonged study for a set amount of time. For around 3 centuries, I and a small cohort of my colleagues personally lived among the Alrock and travelled the breadth of their lands 100-fold over.
Whoa.
For 3 centuries, I walked amongst these people, asked them of their written histories, explored their ruins and tombs, and observed their development firsthand. I and my colleagues hoped to be as little more than passive observers to their struggles and tribulations. Although, when our help was asked, we found it difficult to refuse many a time. I watched city-states rise and fall. I watched ethnic groups be wiped out by plague, war, displacement, and diaspora. I watched them make leaps and bounds through a dozen scientific fields, and I watched them achieve great things and commit great atrocities against each other. How like us they were when we were flesh. Finite, weak, fallible, striving, achieving, stumbling. So many victories and failures and comedies and inspirations. I am not ashamed to say that I fell in love with these people, with their spirit, their story, and their aspirations. The Auroch are a people of singular determination and fealty, yet also humility and hope. They are boisterous and bloodthirsty, but principled and calculating. By the time the 3 centuries of our study had come to an end, the Auroch...
There's one thing that I think we all can agree about Warhammer, just not to pause in a bad spot, but every single one of the characters and species looks so freaking good. So good. Like this species here, they're just a random species. It looks so cool. Like, that's the one thing I love about Warhammer, man. It's, everything looks so cool and detailed. Like, they're like the main species, but they're not. I love it. It's awesome.
were experiencing something of a renaissance, and knew of us as wise and elusive mystics to be respected and revered. And the citizens of Mekta, who had been paying attention for all that time, knew of them as many things. Neighbors, subjects, savages, comrades, children, friends. Oh, what now?
Oh, wow.
Why are you looking at me like that?
So lovely. Your coils are so... Oh, my.
Why are you in here at all?
You have a vocalizer.
Are you high?
The voice of the angels
What
of
the
young
heck?
Messiah.
What
Beautiful chroming, glorious framing.
the fuck?
You are the most beautiful toaster I have ever seen.
The fucking what
I
now?
will write poems to you,
What in the hell's is going into you now?
hold you, caress you.
Stay away from me. Only warning.
Lovely toaster.
No.
Do you have a name?
Unhand me, you lecherous crankshaft!
Oh, beautiful toaster.
No means no, you septic tank of nonsense.
Oh, lovely toaster.
Fuck off!
Prophecy is true.
Well, there he is.
Issues, I take it.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I guess the tranquilizer finally took hold, huh?
In a manner of speaking. How do you get anything done?
Patience.
So
Where
random.
was I?
So
There was
random.
one particular individual among the Auroch with whom I came to identify. A young warrior king by the name of Abraxas. I watched the breadth of his life and story from the very beginning. I was invited to attend his birth, in fact. He went from being an optimistic child to an idealistic young man to a jaded war hero and then to a fiery revolutionary, overthrowing his father's autocratic reign and leading his people in an exodus in protest of his father capitulating to a larger nation and
Damn.
essentially selling out his own people for personal safety. Abraxas founded his own city-state, instituted relatively sensible laws and forward-thinking policies, and valiantly defended his people when they were threatened by predatory neighbors. He held so fervently to his principles and to his beliefs that the sheer force of his convictions seemed to be enough to move the world to his will. But one day, he was assassinated, while bathing no less. He was betrayed by his own brother, a jealous
Damn.
man who envied his siblings' greatness. And when that happened, I found it impossible to remain passive. I snatched Abraxas away at the very brink of death and healed his wounds as he was unconscious. When he awoke, he regarded me with guarded skepticism, and only asked whether it was true that I was a servant of the gods. There had been a legend going around that I and my people were angels. I told him that that wasn't the case, and that I had saved his life simply because I wanted to, because I could not tolerate such a pathetic end for him. All he said to me then was that I shouldn't meddle in the affairs of mere mortals for my own desire for a fulfilling narrative. I laughed and agreed with him, and sent him back to his people.
I thought I was just going to kill him right there. He'll be like, oh shit.
To be a relatively minor historical figure, were it not for me. As he was lying on his deathbed, his people safe and secure in their future, I visited him. It was there that I extended to him the offer to become immortal, to undergo biotransference as we had 16 million years ago. I think I may have damaged his impression of me overmuch by saving his life all those decades prior, as he insisted that there were hundreds more worthy of the honor, and that his story was fine enough ending where it was. I respected his decision. When Abraxas finally died at the age of 132, I was offered an attendance at the funeral, as, although he was soured by my saving him, his family and his people lauded me for it. As I stood, watching the funeral procession march through the city-state streets 5 times over, I felt so moved by the occasion, like nothing else ever had in my entire life and unlife. Perhaps it was the show of remembrance for a great and honorable man. Perhaps it was the knowledge that the whole of his story would end up being a footnote in a history book before long. Either way, I felt compelled to commemorate him in my own way. I and my people landed upon the Alroc's planet in force for the first time.
Oh.
We did so, calling for every leader of every major nation-state to meet with us. It was at this meeting that we made clear our true nature and offered the Alroc people a compact, an alliance if and or when they became capable of space travel, and an offer to grant any great enough individual the gift of biotransference, under the condition that once they underwent the procedure, they could only have limited contact with their people thereon, and a certain list of prerequisites to be met before one could qualify. It was named the Abraxas Accords.
Whoa.
The Alroc leaders agreed to this. I ordered for all members of my court to adopt the colors of Abraxas' old heraldry, black, red, and gold.
It's gonna look dope.
And I changed our dynasty's emblem to reflect the Alroc people's fierceness in accordance with this. The rest of my people, as fascinated with the Alroc as I was, went along with this rather easily. Whatever we had been before the war in heaven seemed to hardly matter anymore, and adopting the Alroc as our veritable mascots seemed as good a decision as any. And it wasn't long before a fair few Alroc Necron joined our ranks of historians.
Looks so cool,
and our
bro.
courts.
So dope.
Today, the Alroc have managed to attain faster-than-light travel almost entirely on their own. They often fight in Vormecta's armies now, and all who prove worthy and wish it join us in eternity. I believe our influence on them was a positive one. Our immortal observance encouraged in them a pragmatic, longer view of their own people, and the potential reward of immortality drove many, many of them to perform incredible feats in the pursuance of it. So, why am I telling you all of this? To be truthful, because I can, and because I now have the opportunity to do so in a convenient way where before it would have been difficult. I encountered the voxcast and rantings of the Commissar at total random and took an interest. Here was a person with a unique approach to history and an apparent enthusiasm for it. He was also in a position of relative power in your Imperium and was not opposed to dealing with outsiders. I recall being rather impressed with the accuracy and witty precision of his knowledge, and so I appeared before him one day with a proposal. I would allow him access to Vormekta's archives and limited use of our chronomancers, and in return, I would be allowed a hand in the production of these very broadcasts. And so,
It's a bad
I
deal.
speak to you now, whomever may be listening. We are the Vormekta.
That's so
and
dope.
I am their Phaeron. We seek to learn, to understand, to know, and to archive all knowledge, all histories, all cultures. Our legions of chronomancers have grown tremendously skilled and powerful over these last 8,000 years. The past, no matter how distant, is a matter of simple recollection to us. And your history, whether you realize it or not, has been witnessed and has been recorded. All of time, all of history,
Listen, I'm
and all
killing
the
everyone.
cultures of the galaxy are part of one grand tapestry. And it is a work of art that we are wholly dedicated to cataloguing, preserving, and keeping. This is Phaeron Zavorhen Yaksha, signing off.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Once again, another great video. I know I didn't talk too much. I was more just just trying to understand what was going on in this video. The start of it definitely put me in some kind of loop, but I definitely enjoyed it. Just like all of his videos, he puts a lot of effort, a lot of personality to his videos, and it's just phenomenal as always. So make sure to check him out again in the description. Please do it. He does a phenomenal job with his videos, puts a lot of effort into him. So show him some love. If you guys enjoy my content, if you guys enjoy my reactions, please hit the like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Take it easy.